Hi, this is Matthew Struck with Treadstone Risk Management. I've done an intro video for the agency. I also wanted to do a quick one just on myself, a little bit of a short profile. I am a partner and co-founder of the agency. I'm a typical story in the insurance industry. I had to kind of find my way into the industry from some, random random progress or progression through my professional life. I grew up in Roseland, New Jersey. It's a little borough in Essex County, right near Livingston. I was the son of a police officer there. My father was a police officer in Roseland for 27 years, and my mother worked in biotechnology and science for most of her career. My studies, I went to West Essex Regional High School. I was always a science and math nerd. So when came time to go to college, my path just seemed to lead kind of in the science and technology direction. And so I ended up going to Tulane University in New Orleans. I majored in biomedical engineering. I actually worked on stem cell research, specifically bone marrow stem cells, and also as a result of some of my internships, placental stem cells. And my research really centered on trying to turn those stem cells into neurons to hopefully one day fix someone's spinal cord or help with brain trauma and brain injury. After I was done with college, I went and worked with the same company that I interned at, and it became very obvious that I either had to get a PhD in order to move up within that company, or a lot of the decisions seemed to be made by the business folks that worked at that company, and all of them had MBAs. They didn't really have advanced science degrees or anything like that. And it just seemed to me that I didn't really want to do another, 6 or 7 plus years of education and research in order to get my PhD. So I went the route of using my bachelor's to then get an MBA. I went to Fairleigh Dickinson University in Madison, New Jersey, and I got my MBA in finance and risk management from there. At the time, I moved away from the biotech sector. I was working at the time that I got my MBA. I worked at a bank, basically as a teller, and eventually ended up working my way up to becoming a branch manager. It was Hub Bank for a while until it was purchased by TD Bank North. And so I ran a branch here in Morristown, which is now my hometown, for about 3 years. So after that, I worked a little bit on Wall Street. Technically not on Wall Street, but I worked for a firm that traded out of Jersey City. The firm did proprietary trading on the exchanges. So that was my little foray into the kind of riskier world of finance, trying to make myself a bunch of money in a very short period of time. But that also didn't really appeal to me all that much because you had to take on more risk in order to make more. So I ended up just kind of falling into an insurance. I was called by a headhunter, and the headhunter said, all right, well, you have your insurance licenses, which I had just kind of gotten as an aside, and we want to set you up with an insurance brokerage that could use you and kind of teach you how to do property and casualty insurance. So I worked for 7 years at a insurance broker by the name of Brown and Brown. The company was very good to me. They eventually made me the head of their public entity risk management team. It was essentially a New Jersey book of business of municipalities, school districts, utility authorities, and other publicly funded entities and organizations throughout New Jersey. And my time there was very rewarding. They taught me a lot. They also compelled me, almost trial by fire, to get essentially what amounts to a master's in insurance. So the certification that I got is called the Chartered Property and Casualty Underwriters Designation. It's basically 8 tests that you take over as short or as long of a period of time as you want. I took them over a period of about 18 months, and the process of getting that certification kind of, I I like to tell everyone that I'm essentially a insurance, nerd or super nerd for having gone through that entire process. Very rigorous, very comprehensive. Um, so that takes me to now. Why did I move away from a company that was so good to me and kind of helped me? And I really wanted to start something of my own. I've always wanted to have my own business that I ran. I'm a big proponent of entrepreneurship. I think that a lot of people should take that leap at least once in their life. If they're not a serial entrepreneur, they should at least try once to run their own business if they can. And the mentality behind Treadstone Risk Management is we want to be a very close, personalized insurance broker for our clients. We want to give them white glove service. We want to build very deep relationships with them. And we also want to build very deep relationships with the insurance companies that we work with so that we can get our clients the best value. So, not just price, but the best value. We want their insurance program to be the best it possibly can. And we also want to help them from the risk management side to make sure that that insurance is just there as a safety net, that they're not just defaulting to having insurance coverage when they do something, that when they either through their walk of life as an individual family, or as they run their business, or as they run their public entity, we help support them with their decision making and how they operate to make sure that they're safe and to make sure that their claims do happen, but to make sure that the claims are kept to a minimum as much as possible, and to make sure that when those claims do happen, that they're handled very closely and with a lot of attention to detail and very proactive as opposed to reactive to reduce the total cost of those claims when they do happen. So we started the insurance brokerage, myself and my partner, Giovanni Mancini. We started this endeavor basically 9 months ago, about at the beginning of 2017, actually, right around then. And it's been extremely rewarding. It's obviously a work of passion. So I went from having a team of about 6 people that supported me when I was at Brown and Brown to being on my own and doing everything top to bottom. It means a lot more work that I normally would have had someone else supporting me doing, but I also think that that gives me a lot closer feel and a lot deeper relationship with the clients that I work with, because I'm actually doing everything for them on a day-to-day basis. There is no request that is too small for me to handle for them and to help them out with. So the other perspective that we have is we want to be the insurance broker of the future. So we want to do a lot of content creation. We want to have a big digital footprint. We want to do a lot of creation of free resource and information for not just our clients, but anyone who might come across our agency online and connect to us on Facebook or LinkedIn or go to our website or see our blog or listen to our podcast. And so we're also looking at that as a way of kind of revolutionizing the way that insurance is done. For a long time, insurance has been done with pen and paper and knocking on doors, and those are the techniques of the past. The techniques of the future are Facebook, their texting, their company automation to make sure that things just kind of run smoothly and operate very efficiently. And that's also a big selling point for both myself and Giovanni working on each account top to bottom is we're involved in every single process to the point where we can ask ourselves, all right, how do we make this process, even if it's a very small one, how do we make it less painless for a client? How do we make it more efficient, and how are we able to increase our touch with the client and make sure that we're developing that relationship and not necessarily just keeping our heads down and trying to mull over paperwork and kind of the nitty gritty every single day. So you'll see a lot of what we end up putting out in terms of content, in terms of automation. You'll find us in a lot of different social media feeds, and we'll be doing a lot of live feeds, a lot of video, and a lot of article and content creation, so that we can kind of share our expertise and our professionalism with anyone who needs it, and anyone who kind of comes across our information and our bases online. So I want to say please feel free to reach out to us. Connect to me on LinkedIn. Just look up my name, Matthew Struck, on LinkedIn. You can also connect to me on Facebook, either the Treadstone Risk Management Facebook page, or you can also connect to me personally. My profile is completely public, so anyone out there who wants to send a friend request, I'd be more than happy to accept, and you can kind of get a little bit better understanding of who I am on a personal level as well. Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we want to make sure to have that personal relationship with our clients as well, understand them, and have them understand us and what we're about and what we do on a day-to-day basis as well. So with that, thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to you.